Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you two scary late night walk experiences. So get ready because they are so creepy. And by the way, if you're new here, I love you guys so much. You're amazing. And we would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and turn on notifications so you can see our videos every single week. Anyways, grab some popcorn and get ready because these stories are from me and my best friends. I was around 14 years old and I lived in this little apartment complex, and my apartment was upstairs and there were two entrances. So one entrance was around like the parking lot and the other one was at the back of the apartment complex. Well, my mom worked super late nights as a nurse, so she didn't get home until really late. And whenever she did come home that late, I had to go sleep over at my grandparents' house. So it was just always me coming home alone. And I have to admit sometimes I was kind of lazy, and I didn't want to walk all the way around the apartment complex to get to my front door. So I would take this shortcut at the back of the complex. But little did I know, there was something very scary waiting for me at the back of the apartment complex. So it was one of those nights where I was once again home alone. I got home and it was really late. The street lights weren't even on yet. And I was walking through the parking lot and I saw this guy and he was driving through the parking lot. He stopped his car, opened his door and started calling out my name. And I'm telling you guys, this dude was creepy. His voice sounded like he was trying to disguise his voice. Like, I don't know. If you've ever seen Silence of the Lambs, that's exactly how it sounded. But anyways, I ignored him because I knew it wasn't my dad. He would never call my name like that. So I kept on walking and I just wanted to get to the back of the apartments as fast as possible because I was getting kind of scared. I could feel eyes on me and I could hear him following me and calling my name. So finally, when I reached the back of the apartments, I turned around and I looked at him and he was gone. I didn't see him anywhere. I thought, okay, maybe I just imagined the whole thing. So I continued walking and that's when I heard footsteps behind me. Now this is where it gets really creepy. The back of the apartments was always completely dark. It was like pitch black and there were no streetlights or anything. So I walked past this big bush and I remember thinking, oh, if anyone's back there, I'm dead. That's what I was thinking. And then the footsteps stopped. I continued walking and then I started hearing twigs and leaves crunching underneath someone's feet. Like I could hear everything. And then I started hearing heavy breathing. Like I could hear his breath. It was really loud. And then I just started running. I started running as fast as I could. And by the way, the entire time I'm looking over my shoulder like, oh my God. But I couldn't see anything. It was so dark. So I finally made it to my door. I opened it and I ran inside and I locked the door. I was shaking and I was breathing really heavily. Then I decided to check my Ring doorbell camera to see if I could have possibly imagined the whole thing. And wouldn't you know it, he was nowhere to be seen. I was so scared, like I did not want to go outside. My mom got home later that night and I told her everything that happened. She was so scared for me and she started making up these scenarios in her head. Like, what if I had gotten out of the car? What if I had gone outside to check? Like, she started imagining all these things. And then the next morning after, of course, not sleeping at all, I checked the cameras again and I saw him. He was sitting in his car and he was watching my apartment. Like he was watching my apartment all night. And the creepiest part about it all, I recognized his car. He was my neighbor. Like, the guy who I thought was my neighbor was actually sitting in his car watching my apartment all night long. I never saw him again, but that still creeps me out to this day. Okay, now for the second story. So this happened last year during summer. My friends and I decided to go on this hike. It was supposed to be a really fun hike. We saw some really cute puppies and it was a beautiful day. So we decided to do this 5-mile loop. Well, we got to the end of the trail and it was actually 8 miles. We ended up doing this whole trail and we were exhausted. It was a beautiful day, so we didn't bring any lights or anything. So we started walking down this hill and it was literally pitch black. There were no street lights or anything. So we started walking and we could hear dogs barking in the distance. And then we saw these 2 headlights in the distance coming towards us. And then we started running because we thought it was a car. And then we saw that it was actually 2 people on bikes. They were on their bikes. And then we continued walking. Well, about 5 minutes later, we heard the exact same thing. We heard dogs barking and then we saw 2 headlights coming towards us. And then we started running again. And then we saw that it was the same 2 people on their bikes. And we started thinking, why aren't they stopping? Why are they still coming towards us? So we continued running and we could hear them getting closer and closer. And then we saw that they stopped. So we thought, okay, thank God. But then we started hearing heavy footsteps behind us. So my friend and I started running again. And then we turned around and we saw this huge dog running after us. And then we turned around and we started running again. And then we looked over our shoulders and we saw that the dog stopped. So we thought, okay, thank God. But then we heard heavy footsteps behind us once again. And then we started running. And then we heard the exact same thing. We heard the dog barking and then we saw the 2 headlights coming towards us. So my friend and I started running as fast as we could. We were terrified. Well, thankfully we made it to the main road and we saw a gas station. We thought, oh my gosh, maybe we can hide in the gas station. So we ran into the gas station and we were shaking. Then we went outside and we saw that they were gone. So we started walking back to our car. And then we heard heavy footsteps behind us once again. My friend and I started running and we didn't stop running until we got into the car. We were so scared. Like, I don't think I've ever been that scared in my life. And then we drove home. We didn't even bother finishing the hike. Now, since that day, I have not been back to that trail. No way, it freaks me out. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. Well, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out a lot. And also make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can see our next video, which will be posted next week. Anyways, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching and I will see you very soon. Bye.